Last time. But the game doesn't technically end here. While this is the end for this video, Pokemon Crystal also has an entire second half where the player can return to Kanto, fight 8 more gym leaders, and defeat Trainer Red. This battle will be harder than any before it, even Karen, and will take more time to plan out. Yeah, I was wrong.
Push my fingers into my eyes. It's the only thing that slowly stops the ache. But it's made of all the things I have to.
Classic, I haven't played it yet.
The Johto half of Pokemon Crystal was challenging to complete blind and deaf for 2 reasons. The first was the presence of early game limitations, such as having access to only Totodile and Togepi. The second reason was Karen. We struggled against Karen because of her Dark-type Pokemon. Kadabra's otherwise broad type coverage from the Elemental Punch moves and Psychic, combined with a very high special attack stat, made the rest of the game pretty easy. But I figured Kanto would offer some new challenges, specifically with Trainer Red's team. His Pokemon are in their 70s and 80s with tons of moves that could cause status effects. It's hard to imagine that even over-leveling could help, given we're using a not fully evolved Pokemon. I was prepared to spend another entire month routing the Kanto half of the game. Instead, it took me 3 days. When we head off to Kanto on the SS Boat, Kadabra is level 65. This is a bit over-leveled for this point in the game, even though it was achieved mostly through fighting trainers across Johto. My goal is to try to beat Kanto with as little time in the daycare as possible, instead relying on more trainer battles and the few rare candies I can grab. Kanto is very open in the Gen 2 game, so I can defeat most of the gyms in any order I want. My strategy is to sit with my little calculator for a few hours and figure out what level Kadabra will need to be guaranteed to defeat each gym leader. Most of the gym leaders in Kanto only have Pokemon in their 40s, which is pretty silly given I've just defeated who are ostensibly the most powerful people in my home country. This means that even at level 65, I'm guaranteed to one-shot all of Surge, Erica, Brock, Janine, and Blaine's Pokemon. That leaves 3 gyms that might give me any trouble at all: Misty, Sabrina, and Blue. Order does matter here thanks to what are called badge boosts. In Gen 2, when you earn a badge from a gym with a certain type, moves of that type get a 12.5% boost for the rest of the game. This is on top of certain badges which also boost individual stats by 12.5%. Misty's Lapras is very tanky, so I can't one-shot her naturally with a Thunder Punch fresh off the boat. If I fight her after Surge, however, Thunder Punch gets a 12.5% boost, and that guarantees a one-shot. Sabrina is tricky because she has Psychic-type Pokemon who resist my strongest move, Psychic, and plenty of ways to get me with status effects. But more tricky is the Hypno that the first trainer in her gym has, which I actually can't be guaranteed to one-shot until level 72. Even though Sabrina will give me the badge boost for my own main type, Psychic, I'll have to fight her after most of the other gyms, because of this one level 35 Hypno. Defeating 6 gyms and hitting a few extra trainers along the way, I enter Sabrina's gym at level 75 and absolutely destroy that Hypno. Sabrina is the third to last major battle in this entire run, and also the first one where I can't one-shot every Pokemon. With my electric badge boost from Surge, Thunder Punch can knock out all of her Pokemon after 1 X special. The issue is that Espeon has Sand Attack, which she appears guaranteed to use on the first turn. The solution is to use a Guard Spec, which nullifies the Sand Attack. Then I can use an X Special, which puts me into one-shot range for Sabrina's whole team. Because Espeon's attacking moves can't two-shot me, I'm safe to just sweep Sabrina's team from here. Kadabra defeats Alakazam, the student becomes the master. Next up is Trainer Blue. Well, actually, next up is this wandering NPC, which took me a really long time to figure out how to get past. But then, next up is Trainer Blue, whose team is significantly harder to deal with. While I can one-shot his Pidgeot, Rhydon, Gyarados, and Exeggutor with punch moves, his Alakazam and Arcanine are not so simple. I cannot one-shot Alakazam unless I use an X Special at level 76 or higher, but I can't set up an X Special on Kadabra against the lead, Pidgeot. This is because that would give Pidgeot another chance to attack me, which would kill Kadabra due to his terrible defense stat. It would also give Pidgeot a chance to Whirlwind, switching me into some random Pokemon I don't want out and wasting my X Special. Instead, I can set up an X Special against the Alakazam. That solves the issue of his potentially using Recover, but does leave open the possibility for him to use Disable. In Generation 2, Disable will disable the last move that I have used. I could have used either of Ice Punch or Thunder Punch to one-shot Pidgeot, but I choose Ice Punch so that I can be sure to have Thunder Punch available for Gyarados. After knocking out Pidgeot, X-Specialing and knocking out Alakazam, Kadabra might be missing some HP. Pidgeot could have used Quick Attack, and Alakazam could have used Psychic. After one-shotting everything else, I'm going to have to deal with Arcanine, who has very high stats and knows Extreme Speed. Extreme Speed will do a lot of damage to Kadabra, so I need to be able to one-shot Arcanine. I can only one-shot Arcanine with Psychic at level 77 or higher, so I've made sure to fight some random bikers to get the XP necessary to level up right before Arcanine. I also need to be able to start from full health against it so that Extreme Speed doesn't knock me out. The solution is to send in a baby, in this case, Kenya the Spearow, which gives me a turn to Hyper Potion Kadabra. Then I can send Kadabra back in for the last hit. Pretty easy. Finally, we're up to the final boss, Trainer Red, whose team is vastly higher level than any of the other trainers in Kanto. Before explaining my genius strategy, let's take a look at everything that might be hard about Trainer Red. First, his Pikachu is level 81, it knows a priority move, and moves that can paralyze. Meanwhile, I have nothing that's super effective against electric type at this time. Second, his Espeon is a tanky psychic type that I also have no super effective moves against. He has Mud Slap, which can lower my accuracy, and Psychic. Even though Psychic is not very effective, this move will still do a lot of damage to Kadabra on a critical hit, and also has a 10% chance to lower my special defense. Third, his Snorlax has 346 HP and a massive special defense stat. It can restore all of its health with rest and could paralyze me with Body Slam. Lastly, he has the 3 Kanto starters, which are pretty terrible. And on my end, the rest of the trainers in Kanto won't give me many more levels, so I'm limited mostly by the 10 rare candies I found along the way. That boosts me up to level 87, which had better be enough for me to defeat Red. And it just barely is. At level 87, I can actually one-shot Pikachu because he forgot he could evolve it into Raichu. I have no sympathy for him. He is not blind and deaf like me, so he's choosing to use a not fully evolved Pokemon. I have to. After this, I have at worst tanked a Quick Attack that does less than 1/2 of my health, and Espeon gets sent out. The strategy I use is fittingly very similar to the strategy I used against Rival 1, the very first battle in the game, Synchronicity. The trick there was to use the fact that Kevin could never two-shot me, meaning that I could do something useful every odd turn and heal on every even turn. This is also the case for Red's Espeon. Level 87 is the first level at which I'm guaranteed that a crit Psychic will do less than half of my health. This means that I have the same conditions as in the rival fight at the start of the game. I have to start off against Espeon with a guard spec, so that it can't lower my accuracy or special defense. From here, I can use Hyper Potion and X Special every other turn until I've used 3 X Specials. At level 87, with the Psychic Badge boost and a lot of stat experience, this just barely guarantees a one-shot on Snorlax. Because I outspeed everything, I can sweep the rest of Red's team. Kanto was easy. So easy that I almost forgot about how hard the first half of this run had been. It turns out that Psychic type is unreasonably overpowered in the first 2 generations, especially in Kanto where there are no Dark type Pokemon. I could see this as disappointing, or as a victory lap for Kadabra, or as a victory lap for me, but I am not so healthy as to see this as a win in any way. The only solution is to attempt more, and more, and more, and more blind and deaf runs. Build out my portfolio, build out this community, and continue to avoid working on my dissertation. Good night.